Gay Goad. Wow. I'm used to seeing Mama G. Wow. I'm telling you, I'm so blown away. Are you kidding me? A mom sitting over there with her two amazing kids up here. I'm just like, oh my goodness, the years and the years and the years. It's like amazing. I'm just so blown away. I'm so proud of both of you. I'm just humbled. Just so amazing. I don't want to talk long because the man of the hour, my man of the hour, is here. But I want to talk just for a few minutes. I wrote a book, I don't know how many years ago, I don't even know if it's dated, I can't keep up, but called Do I Have to? Discovering the Privilege of Get To. There's a story behind the reason I wrote it, but the one thing I do know is that what we declare becomes what we hear, which then becomes what we act on. So what we declare becomes what we hear, and then it becomes what we act on. And so there's an incredible thing when you look at how saying I have to do something instead of I get to do something, how different it is. When I have to do something, it seems so burdensome. Like, this is a burden. I don't want to have to do this. But when you say you get to do something, you're actually talking about a privilege, that I get to do this. And so this was something that really riveted me, and I knew that I wanted to write something about it, because if you think about it, you got to get up this morning. You didn't have to get up this morning, right? I've even written kids' books on it because I want the kids to understand what they get to do. Well, the reason this became so real to me is that we took a trip to Haiti. And it was Haiti. People use that word instead of the other word. It was interesting. And we went to Haiti, and it was hotter than Haiti in Haiti. And we were going to deliver thousands and thousands of meals to all these people who lived literally in a little mud hut with nothing in it. They had no food. They had no anything. And so I remember we got in this guy's Land Rover, and we jump in there, and we're all going to do this feeding, and we had our kids with us, and we were pretty pumped about this. And I remember when we pulled up, I was like, I only see the workers and the volunteers and us. Where are the people? Because we're going to be feeding people. And then all of a sudden you hear these horns honking, and you see these big box trucks come pulling up. So you've got the cab in the front and then the box truck. And a box truck has no windows, nothing. And the doors are just closed. And we're like, okay, this is interesting. And I will never forget when I saw the doors swing open. And I remember Bree and I were standing there, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And there were hundreds of people piled on top of each other in these box trucks. No air, nothing. And I'm talking 85-year-old grandmothers, all of them. And they're slowly helping all of them get off this, and they're just dripping sweat, wet as anything. And then they formed this line, and they've been taught. Because the people that we went with, boy, she was something else. She was like, she was strict. And she'd get them lined up in a line, and you couldn't get out of that line. And these people would then stand for hours in the line to get the food. And then I remember standing there as I watched them, and the men would sit there with their hands and lift these little ladies up, and they would have to start to the back of the truck and fill it. These people were on that truck still waiting for these people to get the food to then get on the truck. And these people, and they're holding this box, this little box of food. And I just remember standing there going, you gotta be kidding me. Well, this is when it hit me. Because we live in a town in Celebration that Disney built. And so the tourists all go to our Publix. All of them. All of them. And I always would call Bree and go, pray. I'm going into Publix. And she'd say, okay, I'm praying. And I walked in, and I remember because I was going to the deli to get the turkey. And of course, I'm number 21, and they're on number 10. And I'm going, oh my gosh. And you're standing there, and of course, all the people in front of me are tourists. Now, when you're on vacation, you do things you don't do when you're home. So when the lady behind the deli counter says, would you like to try our special? What do they say? Sure. Why not? We're on vacation. Well, we have this special and this special and this, and you're going, oh my God. And I'm standing there, and I've got till 21, and they're on 10, and everybody in front of me is going to try the special, and I'm not a happy camper. And I remember just sitting there, and I'm texting Bree going, you didn't pray hard enough, because I'm just about ready to lose it. And I heard a voice. It said, check me if I'm wrong, that you just got to leave the home that you own. You just got to get in a car that you own. You just got to get out of the car with money in your wallet that is yours. You got to walk into a grocery store and stand in line and wait for your turkey. Did you have to walk and get on a box truck just to get one box of food? No, you did not. You got to go do that today. And I said, that's it. And I started, and I wrote this book. And in our home, it became what we talked about. We used to travel as a family all the time. We would go everywhere, and every week we would catch ourselves. We go, come on, we got to go to bed. We have to get up. We have to take a 6 o'clock flight. And somebody out of the floor would go, whoa, wait a minute. We get to take a 6 o'clock flight. I'm challenging you. I'm going to challenge you this week. Catch how many times you say you have to do something instead of you get to do something. Now, I want to make a little thing here and be aware. You start teaching that in your home, your kids are going to catch you. Whoa, Dad, wait a minute. We get to go to church. We don't have to go to church. We get to get up tomorrow morning. We don't have to go. And we catch ourselves all the time. We were somewhere the other day and PT said something. He was on the phone with somebody. He goes, yeah, well, I have to go do a talk or something. He goes, excuse me, I'm reframing that. I get to go do a talk. And it was like his 8th one that day. It's amazing what it'll do when you change how you look at things. You know, and in the book, there's so many things in here, and I'd love for you to get it in the kids' books I have. And if your kids are like an advanced reader, you really want this because it really will challenge you. But one of my number one things I love, and number one, is that you get to unlock people's potential. You get to unlock people's potential. Have you ever tried to unlock a door without the key? I'll never forget when we used to in the cafe, over here in the kitchen, those were the only 2 bathrooms we had. And I remember we were in church and someone came running in and they came in to get us and they said, these men need to go to the bathroom and the door's locked and we don't think there's anybody in there. We're bamming on the door and bamming on, and there's nobody in there, but the door got locked somehow. And I remember we probably ran and got Josh, who knows, but I don't know. But one of it, we're in there. Everybody's trying to get, because the men are standing here. I mean, they could have gone out in the woods, but they wanted to use the bathroom and they couldn't get in. We had to get creative in order to unlock the door. Well, guess what? Most of the time, for you to unlock somebody's potential, you're going to have to get creative. Because you know why? Most of the time, you see something they don't see in themselves. And almost everybody in here, anything that's ever been brought out of you was brought out by somebody seeing it and pointing it out. Guaranteed. And the privilege to unlock somebody's potential. PT, he's a poster child for everything. He really is. I say that because I work for muscular dystrophy, and we always had the poster children for muscular dystrophy. Well, he's poster child for everything. But he sees in people, sometimes it's annoying. My kids can tell you, because we'll be going, oh, my Lord, this person, I don't know if I can do it. Oh, but I know there's something great in there. I'm like, really? He sees this potential thing, but it's so pivotal that you are willing to see it. You get to see potential in people. Listen to this scripture. It was crazy. I was reading this today. It's in Matthew 4:19. But the Lord said to Samuel, do not look on his appearance or on the height of his stature, for the Lord sees not as man sees. Man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. That's what God sees. And so anytime you see someone and you're thinking to yourself, this person's crazy. I don't even know if they really got anything in them. Promise you they do. But you get to unlock it. And unlocking it can be crazy sometimes. I'm standing here with a mic, and a lot of you know this story, with a mic in my hand because of an amazing husband who was willing to unlock my potential. He was willing to see it. And after the first time I shared, the next time I was supposed to go talk. Tim and I were supposed to go talk for hundreds of people. Like, it was a massive conference. Used to be the Peabody in Florida. It's Hyatt now or something. Anyway, and I remember my parents were in town. And I was like, Tim, I do not want my mom and dad to know that I'm speaking. Like, I can't do this. Like, I just can't do this. They don't even know I can even talk. Half my life, I never even spoke or said anything. And so he's like, okay, we won't say anything. So they're like, oh, we're so excited to go hear you speak, Tim. And he's like, yeah. And so we're walking down the steps at this thing going down into the convention thing. And lo and behold, there's a massive sign. Guest speakers. Gaye Goad, room 201. Tim Goad, room 202. And I'm like, hope she didn't see it. Hope my mom doesn't see it. And oh, sure enough. What? You didn't tell me you were speaking? I'm like, well, I'm not really speaking. Well, your name says guest speaker. My mom runs to go find whoever's in charge, which I knew this was. This is what she did, is what Bree said not to do. She goes, excuse me, but I'm her mom, Gaye Goad's mom, and we'd like to be on the front row. Front row, mom, really. So front row they are, and here I go. First time in front of hundreds of people talking on relationships. That's always fun because nobody really wants to hear. The women are going, what is he saying to my husband over there? That's all I want to know. And they weren't happy that I was speaking. But I remember I'm talking, and it threw me off because I looked down, and my parents were going. That's all they did. And my dad came up to me afterwards, and he was like, who are you? Like, you stayed in your room all the time. You never wanted anybody to speak to you. If you ever went to a party or anything, you stood in a corner and you're up there in front of hundreds of women talking. Who are you? Who I am is that somebody found the potential and unlocked it. And I love my parents, but they never unlocked it. So I don't know who's in your life that you need to unlock some potential in them. You never know. God could bring somebody your way. And you need to say, God, what do I need to see in this person that needs to be pulled out? Because you get to do that. It's a privilege that you get to do that. And the other thing is sometimes, people see potential in something they're going to do, but other people don't see the potential in it. And you're going to have an enemy. And I was reading this. I thought it was interesting. Jack Canfield is the author and editor of Chicken Soup. Well, he and his co-writer really thought that this book had some amazing potential. Like, this would be a cool thing. They took it to 130 publishers, and they all said the same thing. Do you seriously think that someone wants to buy a book that has 100 inspirational stories in it, and that's it? And they said, we do. We believe the potential in this is incredible. And they said, I'm sorry. So much so bad that his agent even dropped him and said, I'm sorry, I don't believe in this. They found a little small publishing company here in Florida who took them on. They have over 250 different chicken soup books, and they have sold over 500 million copies because they saw potential when other people didn't, and they didn't quit. They didn't quit. And I'm sure about everybody in here has read one of those books. And they're powerful. And I love hearing inspirational books, right? And stories. But thank goodness they didn't listen to that. The next thing you do is you get to watch your words. You get to watch your words. And I have a children's book that I wrote on this also. It's very important for kids to understand the power of their words. You would be surprised how many things you should be catching before you release them. As far as I know, there's never been a machine invented where you can retract your words. Never been. Once they're out, baby, they're gone. They've been planted, they've been heard, they've done whatever. I want you to write this down. Before you speak, run your words through 3 gates. Before you speak, run your words through 3 gates. Number 1, is it true? Number 2, is it necessary? And number 3, is it kind? Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? Proverbs 26:18 says, think with your mouth closed. When you speak a word, you can't make it as if that word were never said. You can't take it back. Wow. You and I get to watch our words. And I got to say this really quick. Husbands and wives, I love you dearly. We got to watch our words. We got to watch what comes out of our mouth. I'm amazed. I say this. I go to Target, and I call it Target 101. I just sit and listen to these couples and how they speak to each other, and it blows my mind. The lady asked this man to go get something while she stood in line, and he came back with something different. And instead of her just saying, oh, babe, I don't think you heard me right. I wanted you to get this. My gosh, the poor man, he was like a little whipped puppy with his tail between his legs. She went off on him. Oh, my word, you're such an idiot. Can you not hear? Let me see your ears. They need to be clean. Can you not hear what I said? Did I not describe it enough? And everybody in the line, and I'm just sitting here going, I can't imagine what it's like in their home. You get to watch your words, because once they're said, you can't get them back. Ephesians 4:29 says, do not let any unwholesome word come out of your mouth, but only words that are helpful for building others up according to their need. You get to watch your words. You get to speak up to people. Bree said this. This was huge for us in our home. And I'm telling you, if you're a mom and dad, I'm begging you, speak up to your children. Do not speak down to your kids. Speak up to them. Watch your words and what you say to them. We didn't get up every day and call our kids names and labels. No, we're like, you're a warrior. You're a princess. You've got what it takes. You're a leader. You're going to be able to do this. We would speak up. And when anytime we had to maybe correct them, and I'm going to get a little tip here, always correct in private and praise in public. Please. Always. So we would correct in private, but we would always be up about it and go, listen, I know you probably didn't mean to do this, but there is a consequence for this, and this is what you're going to get because you're such a leader, but this is what happens. We always spoke up. You get to watch your words. You get to watch your words, and you're going to be put in situations where you're going to get to watch them. I got put in a situation, we were going to a conference to speak, and I'm almost done. We were going to a conference to speak, and I was setting up the table with all our books and everything, and I was just trying to get everything ready. We had figured out what music we were going to sing and all this kind of stuff, and so I had a lot going on, and this lady came up, and she had the most horrible attitude. She barked off something about something wasn't right, and you shouldn't put that on your table. It doesn't look right, and she just critiqued everything, and I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, who are you? And she walked away. And before she walked away, I was like ready to say, you know what, ma'am, I don't know what your deal is. I didn't do anything to you. I don't know you're having just a bad day. I mean, there were so many things I wanted to say. Or, you shouldn't be in this business because this is a people business and you should not be talking to people. And I had all these things I wanted to say, and I shut my mouth. Ladies, I got me a zip tie, and I didn't say anything. 20 minutes later, the people we were speaking for walks over to Tim and says, hey, I also know that you're pastors. Could you come pray with a lady for us? She just lost her husband last week, but still wanted to come to this function to be around people to lift her up. He was like, absolutely. And we're walking, I'm holding hands. I'm like, you don't believe this lady? She's blah, blah, blah. And I stop. And it's the lady that she wanted us to pray for because she had just lost her husband. What if I had not watched my words? It taught me a lot. One thing I'm learning is you don't know what people are going through. You really don't. And you need to watch your words. Last thing real quick is you and I get to be grateful. Get to be grateful. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, creates a vision for tomorrow. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. See, what you're blessed with diminishes when you stop acknowledging it. What you're blessed with diminishes when you stop acknowledging it. You and I get to be grateful. I'm going to end in this. We taught our kids to be grateful, to watch their words, to watch their attitude, and to understand that everything we're called to do, we're just going to say, God, we're going to go. We're going to do this. We're going to be grateful for it. And we got asked to go speak for this company in Las Vegas. And it was actually a double booking. We were also supposed to be somewhere else that Bree and I wanted to be, which was not Vegas. And it got double booked. And this other thing ruled over us going to that. And so we had to cancel it. And we got to fly across the country to Vegas, which was woohoo, so exciting. And we found out that instead of them being hundreds of people we were going to speak to, they were going to have 25. 25 people Now, understand, we were used to speaking in front of the Coliseums and we're going to speak for 25 people, and I don't want to be there, and I've got an attitude, and I'm not grateful at all. I'm not grateful to be in first class. I was in first class and wasn't grateful at all. I was like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to go to Vegas. Everything that happens in Vegas is supposed to stay in Vegas. I don't want to stay in Vegas. I don't want to be in Vegas. And the whole time, I'm just mad. We go to the front desk, and we taught our kids something you should teach your kids: always read name tags. I didn't even want to read the lady's name. I didn't care what her name was. I didn't want to be there. And it was, oh, dinky hotel. I'm like, couldn't they put us in a better hotel than this? I mean, I was just, everything in my mind was just, blah. And so we go down to speak. He goes, you ready? I'm like, oh, I'm just so ready to do this. Let's go in this little teeny room with 25 people and speak. And I get up and I speak on You Matter. I just want you to know that you matter. You matter. And I did a whole talk on you matter. Inside, I didn't want to be there. I'm thinking, I'm telling them they matter. I don't think I matter. And I get off the stage, and a lady comes running down the hallway, and she grabs me. And she said, I don't know if you know me. I met you a while ago. I just want to let you know I'm so grateful that you came here today. Because she said, you don't know it, but I tried to kill myself this morning. And I didn't go through with it, so I decided I was going to do it tonight. And a friend called me and said, before you do anything crazy, go to this meeting with me. And she said, you stood up and told me that I matter. And she said, you've changed my life, and now I know that I matter and I want to live. See, when you're not grateful and you don't have the right attitude and you don't understand that you get to, you don't have to, you miss blessings that God wants to give us. You get to, you don't have to. Thank you.